And after I had this experience, I was writing a lot of poetry. I just had this urge to write poetry and basically song lyrics. They were just flowing out of me. And we had an assignment to write some haiku and some poetry. And I did. And my mom was really impressed and thought I did a good job. And I expected that I was going to get some big kind of pat on the back, you know what I mean? And the students were reading theirs, and when it got to mine, I got called up in front of the entire class. And she said, "Laren, you didn't write this." She said, "You didn't write this." And I said, "Yes, I did, Miss Duncan." And she said, No, you didn't write this. You're lying. Turn around and look at the class." And naturally, come on, you're second grade, okay, and this authority figure has told you to turn around and face the class, and I want you to tell the class that you did not write this. I said, "Miss Duncan, I wrote those." And she said, "You tell the class right now that you did not write these and that you were lying, or I'm going to send you to the principal." To a second grader? Got to remember, times were different then, okay? I'm 56. I refused. I refused to submit to her psychosis, whatever it was that she had going on, all right? That a second grader couldn't write poetry better than her. That's exactly what I'm thinking. So I got sent to the principal. He sits me down, Mr. Lasnabat, at Hillcrest Elementary School. He's dead now, I'm sure, and so's Miss Duncan. But I want anyone associated with that school district to understand. He asked me the same question. "Did you write these?" And I said, "Yes, I did, Mr. Lasnabat." And I thought he might listen, okay? That this was just some personal thing that Miss Duncan had. He said, "Well, Miss Duncan said you didn't write this." And I believe her. And he gets out his paddle. Corporal punishment was regular then. He brings out his paddle called the Wasp. Anyone who was in my class then remembers all this. With a big wooden paddle with holes drilled in it, and started spanking my ass for a good solid 10 minutes, leaving bruises, trying to make me say I did not write those poems. He sent me back to class. I didn't go back to class. The minute I left his office, I hit the street and I went home. And I showed my mom where he spanked me. And by then it was bruising up pretty good. And you did not want to fuck with my mom when she was angry. She went up there and tore those people a new asshole. In this day and age, photos would have been taken of me. Those people would have been arrested and fired for taking a talented child with a gift and turning him against anything that had to do with school or authority. Right then. They have no idea how that had changed my life. I wanted nothing to do with it. From that day on, when I was in school, I wasn't doing nothing but fucking daydreaming about getting the fuck out of there. By the time I was 14, I was smarter than all my teachers anyway. It's a personal experience. Only the closest people I know have ever heard this story. And that's why I've been a rebel my whole life, mostly. That's where it all started that day. I haven't forgotten it. Like I said, I'm cursed with a memory. I'm cursed with a memory. Can't remember anything I need to remember. It'll hang on the tip of my tongue for 2 damn weeks, okay? But this shit never goes away. So they sent people to test me, and they said, he's a genius, but just treat him normally. We're not going to give him any special treatment. We're not going to do... But it was too late. I didn't give a shit. She came and asked me a bunch of questions that were fairly simple. I gave her the answers. And I knew what it was all about. From then on out, I wanted nothing to do with school. I want to tell you how that relates to religion. Because I learned right away. I saw it. The same kind of punishment was doled out for the same kind of above and beyond thinking or action. That it had to be like this. The sentence is written like this, and that's how you do it, and that's exactly what it means, okay? Or what? Remember the old days, right? Catholic Church? Can condemn your soul forever. The Pope, representative of God on this planet, likes to wear a lot of gold, drinks out of a lot of gold cups. They like their robes all the way to the floor, don't they? All their pomp and circumstance. I know the history. I'm not stupid. I can read. Starving people, and they're drinking out of gold. Look at the riches and the wealth they have. For what? Power. Control. Christians just don't have a central city to go to, all right? Or they would group themselves also. Americans are spread out in little country churches everywhere, okay? In the Middle East, they've got big, large mosques in certain areas that they go to. Same thing with Jewish religion. But the experience of authority and establishment, okay, not accepting anything special, because that is not control. You are not doing what you're supposed to do. You are not who you're supposed to be. See? That's what religion does. Exactly what happened to me as a 2-year-old. Okay? Now it happens as an adult. I've asked questions of these preachers, okay, at these little churches. They could not give me an answer. They couldn't give me an answer. They gave me an opinion. This is what it says, okay? But, well, it says that, but what they mean is this. If you translate it into the Hebrew from this to that, and it's like, well, wait a minute. If you're going to be translating back to Hebrew, let's go get the Torah. Right? Let's go get the book from which your book was derived. Let's go look at the original book. That's the Holy Scripture, not the King James Version. I'm sorry. That was switched and hacked up and cut up and made exactly the way they wanted it, okay? For the Anglo-Saxon. The radical Muslims have done the same thing, all right? Chop it up, cut it up so that it reads the way you want. It's every choice you make is not going to ever be blamed on anyone but you. That's it. Everything you choose not to do for someone else, right, is all on you. That's it. I am willing to be hated, disliked, and any other thing that people want to call me to give this message to you. That death is nothing to be afraid of. You've done nothing here that is going to condemn you to some hell that they've created. We punish ourselves. We go to this place to be cleaned. Cleaned. The people that need Jesus Christ are the ones that find themselves someplace bad. And you'll know you're dead. Trust me, the experience is quite eye-opening. All the bad experiences that you read about in the near-death experience, okay, aside from the religious connotation, are all self-punishing. But it's not forever. At least I hope it's not forever. I don't know. It all made sense to me there. It all made sense. I want you to know that. We go back there. We're the only perfect human being to ever live on this planet. And there's no doubt in my mind that